Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Mind of Mando. It is Thursday, 11:24 a.m. How are you guys doing today? Hope every single one of you started out your days as best as possible. Unless you work graveyards, I hope you have a good night's sleep. Well, I'm doing pretty good myself, like usual. Woke up early in the morning, just clean up the house a little bit, clean out my cat's litter, which is gross, but had to do it. Went out, can't even speak English anymore. Got a cup of coffee, and then my cats are chasing each other. Got a cup of coffee, a nice little croissant, and got some more water for the house. Speaking of water, you already know what time it is. That's right, another can of liquid death. I'm running out. Gotta get my lady to get me some more. So, yeah. Just doing this real quick before school. Forgot to actually charge up the camera of my the battery camera that I used to record these, so I'm not going to be able to go in depth like I've been doing these last two episodes. But other than that, long story short, my morning has been great. It feels pretty warm outside today. Still a good amount of wind, surprising for San Diego, I know, but beautiful nonetheless. So right now, hold on, give me a second. Oh, man, thank you. Oh, on the topic of what I drank, what I'm drinking right now, you know what I found out about yesterday? So yesterday was a pretty weird morning for my lady and I, because you guys ever have those days where you can go to sleep, your usual time, maybe a little bit earlier the night before, but for some reason the next morning you just don't want to get up. And it's not because you're feeling lazy or you don't want to do anything. It's just you don't want to get up because you're still really sleepy. That's happened to me a good amount of times. And although it hadn't happened to me in a while, it happened to me yesterday. I fell asleep the night before, like at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Pretty early. Did not want to wake up yesterday morning for the life of me. And whenever I would wake up and use the bathroom, I think, okay, I go change, go hit the gym real quick, shower, and then make some breakfast. Now, just couldn't wake up. And it was difficult. And I woke up when I realized I needed to wash up and get changed so I can get to work, which I started at 2, but you guys see how late that was, Oh, excuse me. Well, anyways, because of that, I did not have anything to, wake me up in the morning. Usually it's tea, it's caffeinated tea. And that usually gives me a little bit of a jump start. I've been slowly having coffee here and there, which I missed, and it's delicious. And I don't abuse it like I used to. Before, I used to be able to drink, no lie. So a cup is 8 ounces, I believe. Hold on, give me a second. Hello, professional. Is in a cup. Okay, it's a cup is 8 ounces. I used to have 32 ounces of coffee every morning, so that was 4 cups. It may not sound a lot, 8 ounces, but trust me, when it comes down to caffeinated stuff, it's a lot. So I used to have 32 ounces of coffee every single morning, and it used to just get me wired. And the fact that at some point I started building immunity to that, it was no good. So every once in a while I do cut stuff off like that for a few weeks, maybe months at a time, because when I start drinking it again, then the effect, it even the smallest portion of it is going to make me jittery. So that's exactly what I've been doing lately, but I haven't been abusing it. Literally, it's just 1 cup and I'm done. That's all the coffee I need. 2 cups maybe if it's a special morning. I just feel a little bit extra good. Well, anyways, it was still pretty too late for coffee for me, because coffee for me is a morning thing. It was too late for coffee for me. So I went to the store, and what I was going to get was probably get the Perrier lime stuff, which is sparkling water, because those are delicious, or maybe a tea. But then I realized, hey, you know what? I love citrusy stuff, and I need a caffeine boost. And that's when I saw it. Monster Aussie lemonade. and I was like, what? It came in this blue, yellowish designer cup and everything. I mean, can. And I decided to try it. I was like, I like citrusy stuff. Let me try this. Oh my God. I think I found my new favorite drink. Like, that was delicious. And I haven't had Monster in like a few months, you know? And it helped, and it worked, and it made me feel good and everything. I didn't even crash, surprisingly. But yeah, no. So I don't know. I'm not gonna abuse it or anything, because I know that's no good. But you know, it's good. If you guys want to try it, go ahead and try it. Aussie lemonade. It's the Monster juice, you know, stuff. Give me a second. Oh man, liquid death though. It's delicious. Well, it gets some getting used to. But yeah. Well, anyways, I want to say thank you guys, because you guys endured my entire reminisce. You know, honestly, I had a lot of topics prepared for yesterday's, well, the last episode and everything. And I was supposed to segue into it. How do you say it? Yeah, I was supposed to segue into it after I was like talking about the music and everything like that. Speaking of music, give me a second, guys. Hold on. Penny girl, penny girl. Hopefully it's not too loud. The music that you may hear playing in the background in a bit is Nirvana. Yeah, you can probably only hear the drums. Well, anyways, hold on, that's a little bit too loud. Alright, sorry. It's probably only going to be for me to hear. Honestly, I need a new microphone. Speaking of microphones, I've been looking at the different microphones I can get. And so far, I'm leaning, again, towards this one called Blue Ember. And I'm pretty sure you guys probably know them more for their Blue Yeti microphones. It's the company Blue. And, but they have a Blue Ember. The reason I'm leaning towards more the Ember than the other microphones is because the Ember has an XLR connection that I could connect into my Phantom Power, which connects straight into my camera. I don't have a great laptop right now, or else I'd connect it directly to my laptop. And unfortunately, the only ones I can use with a Phantom Power is condenser microphones. And you know, they're all right. The only problem is that because they're condenser microphones, that means that they need an extra oomph to be worked properly, which is what Phantom Power is for. And on top of that, they sensitive to sound, super sensitive to sound. I have a windsock, and I'm about to get a pop filter, see if that could kind of help with this one that I'm using right now. But they're sensitive to sound. That's why, like, every time before I start this podcast, I have to turn off the AC, turn off my fan. Sometimes I try and hold off, like, you know, having my dishwasher run or doing my laundry. We have a washer and dryer in our unit, and I even have to close the window because, you know, you still hear the trolleys outside. And yeah, because it'll just pick up anything and everything. Even like sometimes if you hear scuttering around, it's probably my cat's just running everywhere. So I want a dynamic microphone. The thing about dynamic microphones is dynamic microphones have to be connected straight into your laptop. And I don't know if I made my laptop, because it's only 11-inch HP. I'm not sure if it'll be able to, how do you say it, have enough space to download another program to like fix the sound up and everything for the audio and everything. So, you know, but the Blue Ember is a very strong contender of the next microphone I'm going to get. Despite still being a condenser, I've been looking at reviews about it, and it is very, very promising. So, you know, maybe next week I'll probably order it up. But yeah, so if you guys hear Nirvana in the background, please enjoy that along with my voice. Well, what I was saying before is I was supposed to segue in the list of topics from, you know, after I spoke about the music and everything like that. Just trying to keep the podcast going stale or have dead air and you guys engaged and everything. But somehow it turned into me going down memory lane about my trips back home to SF and bringing my lady from San Diego to go see my childhood and experience it with me for that short day and a half or so. But yesterday I left off with the whole, how do you say it, burning bridges thing. I spoke to you guys about a job that I held when I first moved down here that I hated, that it had just bad management, bad supervisors, bad everything. That was honestly just, I don't want anybody to experience that because of how terrible it was. So I spoke about that, but I also added that onto the fact that despite my feelings towards that company, I still left them with a couple of days advance notice of me no longer continuing my employment there. And the whole reason for that is because, you know, what I was kind of preaching, which was don't burn your bridges. You don't know wherever you're going to end up in life. Hopefully you never get to the point where you have to go back to where you didn't want to be in the first place. But, you know, life being the way it is, who knows? Maybe you will. And, you know, it's the smarter move not to burn your bridges doing that. And the reason I would speak about that is because of the news yesterday of Colin Kaepernick, the former quarterback of the 49ers, when he opted out on his contract back in 2016 or 2017. I think it was 2017. And then he went off to do commercials. Basically, the gist of it was comparing the NFL and them, you know, finding the best players to join into their organization and their team and everything like that. Basically comparing the players of the NFL to slaves, and the slave owners being, you know, the people who, the coaches or the higher ups, the big bosses of the NFL and everything like that. And my whole thing was, you can't compare it to that, especially for the fact that the NFL is something that is completely optional in every single person's life. People look at football, love the sport, and when they learn that they can play it professionally and earn millions and millions and millions of dollars to play a sport that they absolutely love, they train their entire lives in hopes of reaching that goal. And everybody you see in the NFL, all the players are there because they want to be there. They go there, they sign contracts, they renew their contracts, they go off to different teams. They want to be playing in that NFL area and everything. So to basically compare it to a situation that's been around for millenniums in many different countries, both still existing and past, that was forcing people to do stuff they didn't want until they died. I mean, NFL, we're playing a sport and getting paid millions. You know, I don't recall people who were forced into physical demanding labor until they just dropped dead in the spot they were standing on, going home at the end of the day to their mansions and relaxing at their pool with their friends, or bringing, you know, the ladies over or anything like that. That was disrespectful. But, you know, that's what he did. And by doing that, you know, he kind of made a not so great imprint on the NFL. And, you know, years passed. Now the other day, yesterday I believe, he released a tweet basically saying that he's been working out and training all these years and he misses playing with other professionals. And, you know, he's like saying, is anybody's like, you know, want to play, just hit me up, I'll join and everything like that. And it's just like, I think I misspoke yesterday. I don't think he was asking for his job for the NFL back, but it could have easily been misconstrued, not misconstrued. It could have easily just meant that, hey, anybody who I used to play professional football with, if you guys are ever getting together outside of playing in the stadium, just hit me up and I'll go join and play with you guys. But also it could just be an indirect asking of, hey, can I come back? Are you guys cool with that? And if it's the former, you know, that's fine. There's no problem. You know, it's still hanging out with people you used to quote unquote work with. Not quote unquote. That is work. You know, just very cool work. But how do you say it? But at the same time, it's just kind of like, if it's the latter, like you were indirectly trying to give the idea that you want to go back to the NFL, it's like, I don't really see that going your way, to be honest. It's, like, it's gonna be difficult, and you got to have a lot of help and pull a lot of strings and make a lot of, how do you call it, settle in a lot and make a lot of compromises and everything like that to even be considered on being brought back. And even at that, you're not going to be a starter quarterback. You're probably going to be like secondary or third or whatever, or I don't know. And if you do become that, is it only a matter of time until you start saying stuff like, the only reason they don't put me as a starter is because because of my race? See, a lot of people can never really be happy with a lot of stuff, and it's just like, think about it in the real world. Let's say you guys work somewhere where you really dislike, and then when you really dislike it, when you leave, you throw a big spectacle about it. You destroy stuff. You just throw things around everywhere, and then like just really curse out your employer, and then just quit. And then next thing you know, down the road, you kind of want to go back because you need to go back and everything because life's not going your way. I think I used this example yesterday. It's like, do you guys really think that that place is gonna rehire you? I mean, especially if it's big places. Like, I know in the security world, there's so many companies everywhere. The world of security is huge, but at the same time, it's also very small. Because me alone down here, working that one company that I haven't worked since like the end of 2016, I still meet people to this day, and we know the same people from there, even though that was like 5.5 years ago or so. It's insane. It's insane, really. So it's just like, what we know is people have records on them when it comes down to companies, especially the big ones who own multiple places of the same name, and your record goes everywhere for the most part. And eventually it'll catch up to you. You could try and change yourself and who you are all the time, but eventually someone's gonna recognize you, and that's the truth of the reality. So it's just like, I don't know, maybe if you do it, make sure you're just never gonna be like have to go back. But the smart move is, don't burn your bridges. Otherwise, you're gonna be left with that, and people are just gonna be starting to point out, it's like, hey, if you wanted to come back, why'd you do all this? That kind of like mess yourself up in that how do you say it, in that aspect and everything. So when I saw the whole Colin Kaepernick and everything like that yesterday, I was just like, this dude, I don't want ill will on him, because honestly what he did really did not affect me at all whatsoever on the personal level. But it's just like, you kind of did that to yourself, my guy, and everything like that. Hold on, I really love this song. Oh man, I kind of got back pain right now. I need to like really adjust the way I sleep or something like that. Have you guys remember how hectic 2020 was? How insane that year was and everything? I told my lady yesterday I kind of felt bad for her and everything in 2020, because in 2020, when my birthday was in February, the night before my birthday would officially happen, a lot of my friends, my old supervisor and everything like that, from that time, they invited me out. They're like, let's go. And they wanted us to go to this place in downtown. It was really fun. And we went. And since we all got off around the same time and everything, went home, got ready, took a shower, pre-gamed, went down there. Met up with them, and I drank a lot. Like, I drank so much. Well, anyways, it was a great time. Met up with all of them. We were all dressed up. We had drinks, we played games, we went around the city. We were just partying and partying and partying. And how do you say it? My lady joined us later because she worked for later hours than we did. So around 11:30 when she got off, she met up with us and we started, drinking some more and having fun. Well, anyways, it was a great day. The following day, the day of my birthday, my lady and I, we got up, we went out, had breakfast, had a lot of fun times, did a lot of fun things and everything like that. And yeah, it was such a great day, such a great moment. 2 weeks later or so, I finished working that job, and how do you say it? About a week later, that's when everything in the world just came down, and it was insane. And things started closing down. Stores, restaurants, the only essential places of employment, like grocery stores, those are the only ones open. Gas stations, only ones open. A restaurant, not essential. A place to do activities, not essential. Art stores, not essential. Music stores, not essential. You don't need any of that stuff. As long as you got food, water, and gas, you're fine. And it really messed a lot of people up, and it really shut down a lot of places, and it ruined a lot of, livelihoods. It was a very, very bad year. But on top of that, no, not on top of that. Besides all that, I was talking to my lady yesterday because her birthday is coming up next month, and I was just talking to her about it and what we can be doing. She was saying how, well, I told her how I felt bad for her in 2020 because we all had fun on mine being in February, March being when things started officially shutting down and nothing was open, and her day is in April, and we couldn't do anything. I don't even remember what we did. We just couldn't do anything because there was nothing to do. We couldn't go out horseback riding. We couldn't go out to the beach. We couldn't even walk to see a movie or anything because everything was closed, and it sucked. I think we ended up just spending the whole day working, and then just, I don't know, I probably tried to do something for her. I don't know. But yeah, even parks were closed. It was insane how bad things were getting. But yeah, so I was telling her I felt bad that happened on 2020, right before your birthday. We couldn't do anything. 2021 was a little more lenient. I forgot what we did for her birthday on that year, but I know for mine, literally all I did was just get me a pizza and I'm fine, And this year I'm planning on taking her to Los Angeles, to a nice place up there. We don't really go to LA that much, despite it only being 2 hours away. And honestly, I don't see any more reason to go up there because now that gas prices are $5 per gallon, I'm gonna have to just save up money just to get gas if we do that, But what do you call it? We don't do it all the time, and I want her to be happy. And if she wants to go explore Los Angeles, we can go explore Los Angeles, find places we can go up and eat and everything like that. The only thing I'm going to try and do is avoid the freeways during rush hours, because the last time I went up there with two of my buddies, literally a 35 minute drive turned into an hour and a half, and that was ridiculous. Hold on. Oh, man. Yeah, 2020 was crazy for multiple different reasons, but I think the reasons we all know the most is, that people were advocating to wear your masks, get vaccinated, and stay inside, except when there were riots, except when the quote-unquote peaceful protests were happening, I'm just saying, really, that there's two sides to every story. And honestly, that whole case that happened in, Minneapolis? With that cop? Officer Chauvin, something like that. He's not an officer anymore. He's in jail. And George Floyd. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. And it just really, really started spiraling down. And honestly, I feel like it got to that extent that it did in 2020 for the sole reason that because of the lockdown and people trying to shelter in place, people were really bored. And if people were really bored, it was like, let's just go out and do stuff, you know? It was insane. And it was insane. And, you know, a lot of people, we're in an era where we can voice our opinions either in person or on the internet for people to see, anybody to see. And that's exactly what a lot of people did when they weren't able to go out there, when they were able to do any of that stuff. People were voice their opinions over the internet, and no other type of people were doing that. Oh, excuse me. Were able to do that more than celebrities, and a lot of them had were either neutral, others were for one side or the other, but some of them expressed their opinions, expressed their mind before thinking, you know, before thinking. And it was interesting to see when more facts would come to light, how they either try to backtrack what they said by saying no, I meant to say it like this is how it was supposed to be, or they would delete their stuff altogether in hopes that nobody would remember, you know. But this is the internet. Everybody remembers. Whatever you press out there and hit send, it's gonna be out there forever, whether you try and do damage control or not. It's gonna be out there and people are going to have it. So one of those things was, I don't think this happened in 2020, but it would happen in 2021. There was a situation where, how do you say it? I forgot where it happened. But I guess there was a situation where 3 girls were going to go up to this one girl, this victim, and they were going to jump her. You know, being jumped isn't fun. And honestly, personally, for me, if you jump somebody, all it would is make me mad. Not really scared or anything, because it was just it's kind of a compliment too. It was you need 3 people to take on one person. Okay. Well, anyways, 3 girls were gonna go jump with this one victim, and originally the story was the victim was the one being jumped. She was calling 911 for help. Maybe it is, but another thing that I heard was somebody else was calling 911 for help. What do you call it? When the officer dispatched to the situation arrives, I think over dispatching they were like, there's a physical going on over here, reports of a girl being jumped, knife in the situation, yada yada. When they get there, we have multiple different camera footage, from the dash cam to the officer's body camera. And it's easy to Monday night quarterback everything, and it's easy for us to be like, oh, but they could have done that. 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 Look, they were doing this. They could have done that and everything. It's so easy for us to do that because we're not the ones in that situation. We're not the ones having to make the choices there. We're not the ones having to react. And if whatever we choose ends up not being the best, we're not the ones having to live with that decision for the rest of our lives. You know, that man was. That man was. And if you've never been in a situation like that ever in your life, there's really, I'm not saying your opinion is invalid. I'm just saying it's hard to take words from those people like serious, you know. It's, I'm kind of sounding bad right now because it's just like, I feel like if you were talking to somebody who's experienced something similar to that and they have some sort of criticism, then it's just like that's a little more of a thing that should be taken into heart rather than somebody who's just watching it from the comfort of their own couch or something. So basically, from what we saw from the body cam footage, is that officer came out and he literally stepped out for a total of like 3 seconds, maybe. And then you just see one girl with a knife charge another girl who was holding a dog standing, and the officer had to make a decision. And unfortunately, the one with the knife ended up, paying the price. A lot of people were very angry at that, because it turns out the one with the knife who was going to try and stab the other girl was the one who the other girls were going to jump originally, and the ones that said that she was the one who called the police for her own safety. Some stuff that I would hear was people being like, "Oh, why didn't the officer show up and try and taser?" Unless you've been there, you'd know that tasers don't always work, even if they do make a good connection. There's multiple videos on YouTube that shows that tasers do not always work on everybody. And unless you get the Taser 7 or the X2, you only have one shot of that before you have to unload the cartridge and reload with another one, and then line it up and then shoot again, hoping both prongs connect somehow and your clothes don't stop them. But that's what it is. And if you're carrying an M26 or an X26, well, good luck lining up that perfect shot. X2s and Taser 7s, you have a little more of a better shot to do it. But they're all like, why didn't they just taser? Well, put yourself in the situation of the girl that's going to be stabbed. You shouldn't have been doing what you were doing in the first place, right? But what if you were just standing there and someone, let's say approximately 7 to 10 feet away from you, starts running at you with a knife, and their intent is to just end your life right there. And then you see somebody who's capable of making sure that you aren't taken away from this earth, and their choice is to try and tase the girl. And then the person that's trying to end you, they get tased, but it doesn't make a good connection. So they don't stiff up, they don't get paralyzed, they don't fall to the floor like a stiff plank. They just keep coming at you. Well, guess what? Now they're where you're at right now, and now you're feeling cold steel inside of your body over and over and over again. And who knows where you're going to be in the next hour or so, But what if the same person saw that same individual trying to end your life, but instead they just do something to stop them, and now you're safe? It's just like, would you be mad at the person for saving your life? A lot of people say that and everything. And my personal opinion is, unfortunately, I wish nothing like that happened, but it does. And, in the end of the day, you could be a victim of something, but if nothing's happening to you and you go and try and do that to the person you feel victimized by, you're no longer a victim, you're an aggressor. And you're going to be treated as an aggressor. There's a difference between aggression and revenge and self-defense, and I feel like a lot of people need to start learning the difference of that. And I'm trying to stay being a podcast. I'm not trying to turn into a pro-cop, anti-cop type of channel, but it's just like that's basically what I observed. And I'm not basing this off of articles. I'm not basing this off of other people's opinions. I'm basing this off of the footage that's available for us to see. If we take every single one of our biases away and just look at it, look at what's put in front of us, we can clearly see that somebody who got dispatched to a call, who doesn't know who's who, and who doesn't know who's doing what to who doesn't have any other information besides there's a physical happening with a knife involved, and they see somebody with a knife going to another girl with a knife, it's kind of like, it's only safe to assume that this is the person trying to cause harm to others, only to later learn that she was the one who was originally the victim. And it's like, you just got to really keep factors like those in mind. Anyways, my whole reason of going to this was because of celebrities and their tweets and everything. And the one celebrity who really does not get all the facts and really just fumbles everything they're trying to say is LeBron James, Mr. James. He put up a tweet with the officer's picture in uniform and said officer so-and-so, his name, and he's like, "You're next, accountability." And how do you say it? Yeah, he ended up deleting it because people are like, you're inciting how do you say it, violence towards this man, even though it could be construed any type of way. It's like, you deleted your tweet, you're saying it's being used for hate, but it's just kind of like, bro, you're just seeing two individuals of different races. You're not looking at a situation for what it was. Well, anyways, I'm gonna cut it off there, everybody. Thank you for another episode of Mando. It would have been longer, but my battery is about to die. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Peace.